I'm going to be demonstrating this Van Gogh inspired acrylic painting of almond branches and a raven. Hi, I'm Lisa, the artist behind Lachri Fine Art. Today I am painting in acrylics using Liquitex Basics on a Fredrix Nature mixed media paint board. If you've not used these paint boards, they're very similar to stretch canvas. They are 3/4 of an inch thick, but it is a hard surface and a really smooth surface to paint on, so I love these for fine detail. They're also great for airbrushing because they are so smooth. Some of you may recognize the shape of my branches from Van Gogh's almond branch painting, and that is exactly what this was inspired by. As musicians, when we play another artist's song and put our own twist on it, but you can still recognize it as the original song, we call that a cover. So today I am doing my own cover of Van Gogh's almond branch painting. If you are a supporter over on Patreon, the 1-hour version of this tutorial is available for you guys to watch now, so make sure to head over and check that out. Now let's get on to this tutorial. I have started by mixing a teal color with phthalo green and phthalo blue with some white. I used a mop brush, which actually wasn't a mop brush, it was a makeup brush because they don't shed as badly, to smooth out those brush strokes. And then I went over it with the airbrush to start creating the almond branches and blossoms that are in the background. I started with white, then made my branches with brown, then went over it with some brown on top of the actual almond branches so that I got a little bit of depth there. I'm using unbleached titanium white for this blocked in background that I did, and then a stencil that I picked up at Hobby Lobby for the damask. I'm just painting right over that stencil. Normally I draw them in and paint them more clearly, make sure that those lines stay clean, but for this I wanted this very rough look. And then after I got the damask print in there, I roughly went over that again with the unbleached titanium white to make it look even more aged. For the branches, I have traced them directly from my monitor, and I have a video showing you how you can do that. I will have a card pop up. And I traced it with tracing paper and then used transfer paper from Low Cornell to get my image onto the canvas. Once that was on, I've made a mixture of Van Dyke brown and unbleached titanium white, and I'm just blocking in the branches. I don't care if this color is perfect or it's even a color I'm going to want in the end. I just need a base there. I'm going to cover it completely with other colors later on. Now I am roughly blocking in where all of my almond blossoms are going to go. Notice for the raven, I've only drawn in his outline. I'm just going to fill him in with a solid mixture of black and phthalo blue. I'm not going to worry about the detail until later on, so there was no reason for me to draw in all his detail now. So onto the branch, I'm adding my shadows. I'm doing a little bit too much blending here for the style that I ended up going with, only because I wasn't sure which style I wanted in the end. I thought I was going to do this super detailed and decided later on that I would rather have a more painterly, impressionistic look so it fit more with the Van Gogh style, even though my colors are completely different. Adding highlights with unbleached titanium white. And then I can move on to my flowers once I get some more of those highlights in. Now, the first flowers that I had blocked in, I was going to do them more detailed and decided later on I wanted a looser look for these. And so that's why that portion is missing out of the video, because it was not the style I ended up going with. What I'm doing now is taking this magenta color that I've mixed and blocking this over all of my flowers. I'm also using some more black to add more shadows roughly on my branches. Now that I've decided at this point in the painting, this was kind of an experiment for me. I really wasn't sure where I was going with this, but now that I've decided for sure that I want this looser style, I'm being very loose. I've got a lot of paint globbed onto that brush. When you want this look, you do want a lot of paint on the brush so that each brush stroke that you make is nice and smooth. You don't want that dry brushed look that you often get when you don't have a lot of paint or water on your brush. So I'm coming back through with the unbleached titanium white mixed with a little bit of the Van Dyke brown to tone down some of the pink on these flowers. But I'm still letting a little bit of that pink show through. Now I am using some of the turquoise I used in my sky to pull out some more detail onto my branches, mostly on the shaded areas of each of these branches, but again, I'm being very loose, very messy. onto the raven. This is where I start cleaning everything up. I want the raven to be fairly realistic. So I'm making sure to pay close attention to my details. I got the drawing back out by using the transfer and tracing paper method that I showed in that video that I linked earlier. And now I'm just using that kind of aqua color to loosely sketch in where all of his feathers are going to go. Once those are blocked in, I'm going to use a purple with magenta mixture to glaze over some of this, the color that I have on there now. Once that glaze is done, I'm going to go back up to his head and start working on details. So starting with the eye, notice I've got it lighter on the bottom section, dark on the top. And this is going to go through some really ugly stages. But you want to remember when you're working like this, just keep layering until it looks good. It's normal to have these ugly stages. That brush that you're seeing me use, that really skinny one, is a synthetic hog hair bristle brush that is either a number 3 or a number 4, I'm not sure. Adding in more of my shadows using Mars Black. When I want a very transparent black, I can switch over to Ivory Black. When I want that black to be very opaque, I'm going to use Mars Black. I've got to pay close attention to my reference photo. This reference photo for the raven comes from wildlifereferencephotos.com. And I think you guys can find your own photos of Van Gogh's almond branches on the internet. You don't have to worry about copyright there. His paintings are well outside of copyright, so if you decide to paint one of these for yourself, you are totally safe to do so. Now I'm going to continuously build that detail and then work on to the back. I'm using a lot of transparent mixing white for these feathers on his back and for a lot of these highlights so that they're not too bold. And the transparent mixing white is a Liquitex heavy bodied paint, while the rest of the paints that I'm using are the Liquitex basics. Making sure to get that sketchy edge along the edges of the feathers. Doing a lot of little teeny brush strokes for those. Now I'm adding some shadows, again with the Mars Black here. And when you're working with a lot of detail like this, just remember to keep layering until it looks how you want it to. If you have a bad layer, it is no big deal. Just keep working. And that is pretty much it for this guy. If you guys have ever remade your own older painting like this, I would love to see it. You can either link me below in the comments, or you can share on any of my social media pages. Thanks for watching. Again, if you are supporters over on Patreon, the 1-hour version of this video is available for you guys to watch now, so make sure to head over there and check that out. If you're new to my channel, I have new video critiques every Tuesday where I'm critiquing your original paintings or drawings, my own speed paintings, drawings, and tutorials every Wednesday, social media tips for artists each Thursday, and artist vlogs every weekend. So if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything, and you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Google+. All of those social media sites are linked below in the video description where you can keep up with news, my newest work, and see real-time clips of whatever it is I'm currently working on. I'll see you guys tomorrow. This shirt is abnormally wrinkled. Probably should have taken care of that before recording this video. For those of you who want to see realistic flowers done in acrylic or oil paint, I have one of those coming up in a few weeks. I just have to go buy the flowers to use as my reference. I haven't gotten that far yet. Hi, I'm Lisa, the artist behind Lachri. Today I'm going to be demonstrating this painting inspired by Van Gogh of almond branches and a black raven, as opposed to a red raven.